Hey everyone, Dana here. The other day I was looking through some information and I came across a question that asked, what is the number one thing that has reignited your health and fitness in your 50s? And it gave me a moment to reflect. And I want to share with you today what that number one thing is for me as a 55-year-old menopausal woman, and also share with you 3 tips that have really turned my life around in my 50s in regard to my health, my fitness, and my wellness. The number one thing that has reignited my health and fitness as a woman in my 50s, having been a personal fitness trainer for 3 decades, truly is education. Going into menopause for me was a little bit of a shock. I had bloatedness in my tummy. I was on the roller coaster of mood swings, and I really felt that my body was going through some changes. And I guess what I personally didn't like is the feeling of not having control over it. So I felt like menopause was taking control of me rather than me taking control of menopause. So the number one thing was education. And what I wanted to truly share with you today is one piece of the puzzle that I felt was a game changer for me, and I've been sharing with my clients ever since. And that is the education around habit change. There's a saying out there that your life is the sum of your daily habits. And I think there's never been a truer saying. And for me personally, I was having some pretty good habits going on, but I also had a few bad habits. For those that knew me, they knew that I was a sugar addict. I was given Tim Tams for Christmas, chocolates for Christmas, and I would eat sugar like it was going out of fashion. So I did definitely have some bad habits. I have been able to learn the tools, the tricks and the tips and the strategies of some real professionals, being BJ Fogg, who wrote Tiny Habits, and from James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits. And lately I've been digging and delving into Andrew Huberman, who is a neuroscientist, and he has been sharing some great information on being able to maintain new habits long term. So let me share just a couple of those findings with you today. And the first one that I wanted to share with you was that when we are trying to start a new habit, we often rely on feeling motivated. And I don't know about you girls, but for me personally, I do feel motivated day 1, day 2. And then my body goes back into where it feels comfortable, and everything can spiral back down to the beginning. And I find it so frustrating, or worse still, I forget to do my new habit. So it's like I have every intention of creating this new habit, and then oops, I forget, and there I am doing my old habit. Can anybody relate to this? Well, what I discovered through Andrew Huberman was that if we work with our natural body rhythms, we have more chance of long-term success than if we try and do everything at a certain time. So let me explain that a little bit more. Our body really relates more to a state than a time. And when we think about our circadian rhythms, our body is in much more of an active state earlier in the day, and it's in much more of a sleepy, settled, and probably what I would call more a calm state of later afternoon going into evening, getting ready to sleep. So if we decided that we wanted to create a new habit that really involved activities such as maybe doing your cardiovascular work or your resistance training, it could potentially be positive to pop that in the earlier half of your day, not necessarily a certain time, but in the earlier half of your day when your body has naturally more energy, more cortisol in the body, and more likely that your body will react well to that activity than if you're trying to motivate yourself in the back half of the day when those other hormones have more kicked in, the serotonin, the relaxation hormone, and melatonin, getting ready for rest and repair. Well, it becomes a little bit more challenging to go, yep, I'm going to do my cardio and my resistance training. So my very first tip is to look at your natural body rhythms and to set your new habits into play based on your body. Let me give you another example. My new habit for 2023 is to work more on my rest and repair tools. And so for me, that is things like meditation, breath work, stretching, and knowing that they are more slower, more relaxed type activities. If I went into 2023 and said, yep, I'm going to do that as soon as I get out of bed of a morning, the likelihood is for my body that I will probably fail within the first couple of weeks, because my body of a morning wants to go, go, go. It's full of life and activity. And so I'm far better programming those more gentler activities and rituals and habits into the latter part of my day, giving me a much higher chance of success. You know, by being successful in these habits releases dopamine in our body. And when we release dopamine in our body, it is actually the reward hormone. And so it actually wants to push you forward. It actually wants you to keep moving in a progressive direction. So if we are able to get those little spurts of dopamine because we've been smart enough to place our habits into those parts of the day that best suit our body, well, happy days to us. I call that smart result-based training. The second tip that I would like to share with you is rewarding yourself on a everyday basis. And what I mean by that is we often go into our health and our fitness with a big goal in mind. I want to lose 10 kilos. I want to get super fit. I want to shape up my body again and get nice and toned. And when I get there, well, that's when my life's going to take a turn for the better. The reality is, it is the actual journey, that each step of the way that is our life, because reality is health and fitness never changes. It's something that we're going to continue to be doing and progressing for the rest of our life, especially now that we're older women. And it's absolutely vital that we keep looking after our body so that we can lower inflammation in our body. We can help our hormones stay in balance, and we want to be able to keep our metabolism kicking to the best of its ability. So if we reward ourselves on a daily basis and we sit for a moment and truly acknowledge what we've done well rather than what we've done wrong, well, once again, we are going to be rewarded with a dopamine spike or a dopamine hit. So ultimately what that means is it's going to give you a bit of a feel-good moment, and it's going to make you feel like you want to keep going. So rather than us relying on this motivation, discipline, go hard or go home attitude, feeling like a failure when we muck up, if we can start to really implement these habit changing tools, well, I feel like we're playing the game in a smart way. We're playing the game to help support our goal of health, fitness and wellness rather than to sabotage our goal of health, wellness and fitness. So a little reward can just be a little pat on the back, a little acknowledgement of all the things you did right, and just being that little bit kinder to yourself. What did I say last week? Giving yourself a little bit of love that you, I'm sure, share with everybody around you. It's your turn for you. And my third tip in regard to habit change is it's not all about creating good habits, is it? So, we've got all these new habits we want to instill in us for our future. Tick, tick, happy days to that. But we've probably also got some bad habits that we actually want to get rid of. And so my third tip that really I feel has been like a game changer for me in my 50s is learning how to unravel my bad habits. Once again, I read a saying that life is like an egg. If you crack the shell, the life of the egg is finished. If you crack the inside, the life of the egg begins. And I don't know if I quite got that right, but I'm hoping that you get the idea that it's like happiness or success or habit change is an inside job. So it's not an external job where we look out there for the motivation and we look out there for somebody to give us the answers, but we start to look internally within us. And so when we can start to look at our bad habits, we can start to unravel them one bit at a time. I often use the story that if you think about, if you go to your jewelry box and, probably when we were more teenagers, but you tended to have all these necklaces and it made a big clump. And I don't know about you, but I used to have to sit there sometimes and unpick those necklaces one bit at a time. Well, unraveling bad habits, I believe, is exactly the same process. It's not going into them going, I'm going to give up that bad habit of drinking alcohol on a daily basis today, because the likelihood is that that old habit that you've been so used to, within a few days, you'll be back there because it feels comfortable. Whereas if you were able to unpick your bad habit one little piece at a time, you may ultimately be able to overcome that habit of yours that you so wish and desire to get rid of. I don't say it happens overnight. How does the ad go? But it will happen. And it's all about staying plugged in. It's all about not giving up. And it's all about being kind to yourself when you muck up. So I don't know about you personally, but I know for many of my clients and me personally, we all muck up. And that's okay, because that is in the circle of change and it is called being a human. The most important piece is to, rather than judge ourselves and go, oh, I'm hopeless, there I go again, be curious. That is interesting that I mucked up again. What was going on for me emotionally? What was going on for me in regard to my thought patterns? And be that little bit curious to pick that little piece of your bad habit apart, which ultimately may lead you on a journey of discovery. Some bad habits do require professional help, and I'm certainly not one person to say don't get professional help. I love professional help. Whatever floats our boat and gets us there, well, that works for me. But I do know that as women in our 50s, and having years of wisdom under our belt now, that we are able to get back our health, our fitness, and our wellness. And what we just don't realize is we have limitless potential to create truly transformational results. We just sometimes forget that we are capable of that. So girls, that's my education. I hope that it has helped you to have a little think about what is one thing that could reignite your health and fitness as a woman in her 50s. And of course, always know that I'm here. Reach out if you have any questions, and I look forward to being a part of your health and fitness wellness journey as we keep moving forward. Take care. Hey there, I just wanted to let you know that if you are after some free training, be sure to check out my free training below, which is a 3-part video series where I share with you the 3 steps women over 50 need to take to be able to lose weight. All right, well, thanks for joining today, and I'll catch you for our next workout.